Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel for hearty, healthy family recipes. Today I'm making it's a Slimming World recipe actually. It's a chicken and tarragon fricassee, which is like a creamy stew. As we go along, I'll tell you what you can do if you don't want to do the Slimming World version of it. You want to do the full fat version instead, which is nice, but you should try the Slimming World version anyway because it's really nice, low fat, good for you. So I'll tell you what we've got to go in it today. I've got some chicken breasts, about 4 chicken breasts, 500-600 grams. If I wasn't doing a Slimming World version, I'd probably use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I prefer them to chicken breast. I just think they're nicer, but this is the lower fat version. So chicken breast just cut into chunks, like bite-sized chunks there. I've got 2 onions chopped. I've got green beans and carrots, which I've cut into kind of 2-inch pieces. I've got a whole head of garlic, which I've separated the bulbs from but not peeled them. So there's just cloves of garlic there, the unpeeled cloves of garlic. I've got 200 grams of fat-free fromage frais. You need fry light. Tarragon, this recipe you're supposed to use fresh tarragon, but I've never been able to get fresh tarragon from anywhere. None of the supermarkets around by where I live do fresh tarragon, so I find it works just as well with the dried stuff. I mean, I've got nothing to compare it to because I don't know what it tastes like with the fresh tarragon in, but it's really nice with the dried stuff in anyway. Chicken stock, I've got about 400 ml of chicken stock in there, and salt and pepper. So the first thing we need to do is brown the chicken. I'm going to bring you over to the cooker. We need the fry light. Got that there. I'll just move that down so you can see a bit. Okay, got the fry light. Give it a shake. Probably about 6 sprays. It's up to you really. Ooh. Now, what I find with using fry light is it really just helps have a really good non-stick pan, because especially when you're cooking things, chicken's fine. Chicken breast's a bit, it could, because it's low fat, it doesn't render any fat, no fat comes out of it, so it might stick a little bit. I always struggle with frying onions in it as well because again they're dry and there's no fat comes from them, but a really good non-stick pan does help. So we'll just heat up that oil. I'll just get the chicken breast. Right, the oil's heated up now, so I'm just going to put the chicken in. And I'm just going to fry that over a sort of medium-high heat until it's all browned on all sides, and then we'll come back when that stage is done. So the chicken's been frying for about 10 minutes now. You can see it's all quite nicely browned all over, so we will go on to the next stage now. Okay, so the chicken's done. It's really nice and brown. I've got a big casserole dish here. I'm just going to tip the chicken straight into that. Now this is so in the Slimming World recipe they say just to chuck everything in now, but I have said before, I don't like to put onions in anything without cooking them a little bit first because they just always stay a bit crunchy. So I'm going to put a bit more fry light in this pan and turn the heat down really low and put the onions in. So I've got the onions here. The pan's quite hot, so I'm just going to cook them for a little bit. If you find with the chicken, so a little bit of water came out of the chicken, and then it really stops the chicken from getting brown if you've got water in the pan, because it just tends to steam it. So if you do find that a little bit of water comes out of the chicken, then I think the best thing to do is either drain it, which I've done before, or turn the heat up really high just to boil the water off basically. And then it will start browning, because the chicken won't brown if there's water in the pan. So let me just give these onions a stir. And what's nice about putting the onions in as well, if you can see, you kind of deglaze the pan with it, so it gets all of the sort of juices from the chicken on there as well. That's why they're a little bit brown now, because that's the brown off the chicken. So, oh God, nearly lost my lid. Right, I'm just gonna give that a couple of minutes. What I don't want is for the onions to go brown, and that is the trouble that I normally find with fry light, is that they just tend to sort of go brown before they've softened. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it, and what I want them is to just soften a little bit really. And if they look like they're sticking and starting to go brown, I might just put a little bit of water in. But we'll just give it a couple of minutes anyway, and then I'll come back. Okay, so the onions have been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes. They're quite nice and softened now. As I said, they're not brown, that's just the brown off the pan where the chicken was browned. So they're just nicely softened now. So now it's just a case of chucking everything together in the pan. So I'll bring the pan over to the other side. I'll bring you over here so you can see, hopefully. One sec. So we've got the pan with the chicken in. Just going to put the onions in there as well. Again, this is one of those recipes that if you had a really good pan that you could fry onions and chicken in and stuff, and then put all the rest of the stuff straight into it, that would be good. But I haven't got a pan that good, so I'll just use my frying pan and then put everything into the casserole dish. Right, so we've got chicken and onions. Put the carrots in as well. I'm not going to put the green beans in yet because they don't take very long to cook, so they'll go in towards the end. Garlic cloves straight in. Tarragon, again, I just kind of do it by sight really. I don't know, a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, just to taste. So if you don't like tarragon, or if you can't get tarragon, you could use thyme with it as well. That would go well. Thyme would be nice in there, but tarragon's got a really lovely distinctive flavour. So if you've never tried it before, I'd recommend it. I might just put another little bit of that in there. Probably 2 teaspoons of dried tarragon. Now I'm going to put the stock in, 400 ml of stock. Just give it all a stir. So if I was doing a full fat version of this, what I would have done with the chicken and the onions is I would have used proper oil to cook the chicken and the onions. And then I would have sprinkled it with flour once it was cooked before I put it in the stock. That would have just thickened up the sauce a little bit. But we're going to put some fromage frais in this at the end anyway, so it will thicken, although it won't be as thick as a sort of normal full fat fricassee. So just give everything a stir. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot of stock in there, but that's what's in the recipe, and I have done this before, but I haven't done it for a long time. So I'll put it. So you've got to put it on a kind of low heat with the lid on. Simmer it on a low heat with the lid on. It's safe for 15 minutes. So I think the main thing here is just to check that the carrots are cooked, because the chicken's already cooked anyway. When you brown small pieces like that, they cook through anyway. So just check, put it on a low heat, simmer it for 15 minutes, and then just check that the carrots are cooked. Well, you need to put the green beans in then, so it will have 20 minutes altogether. But yeah, as I say, the main thing is just to check the carrots are cooked. And what I would do as well sometimes, what I've done with this, it depends if you're on what sort of diet you're on, but I would put sort of new potatoes in this as well now at this stage. And just put a bit more stock in, because there wouldn't be enough stock there to cook potatoes in. So just put some new potatoes in. They cook in like 15-20 minutes. So you can do that. So it's really nice actually with all the potatoes, and then you don't have to add anything else to it then. So yeah, I think that's it. It's ready to go back on the hob now. So just give you a little look at that. So I'm going to put that on a low heat now for 15 minutes. I'll keep my eye on it because, like I said, there's not a lot of liquid in there. It's not really covering it. It's just a little below it, but we'll put it on and see what happens. If it does look like it's drying out, I'll probably put a little bit more boiling water in it, but we'll see how it goes anyway, and we'll come back in a bit. I forgot to put salt and pepper in it, so make sure you do that. So I checked the pan after 15 minutes and I didn't think the carrots were cooked enough for me to put the green beans in, so I gave them an extra 5 minutes. So they've actually had 20 minutes now, and the carrots are virtually cooked now. So I'm going to put the green beans in. I don't think 5 minutes is going to be long enough actually to cook them. I mean, yeah, I don't want to overdo them, but I don't want them to be really hard either. So I will check them after 5 minutes, and if they're done, great, but I think it's probably going to be more like 10 minutes. And there is actually plenty of stock. I was a bit worried that there wasn't going to be enough liquid, but there does seem to be. If I can I'll just turn it round so I can show you. So you can see there is still quite a lot of liquid in there. It hasn't evaporated much. So the green beans will cook fine in there, but I'm just not sure it'll be 5 minutes. But I'll give it 5 minutes, I'll check, and then we'll come back when they're done. So I checked the pan after 5 minutes, after the green beans had 5 minutes, and they were nowhere near ready. Checked them again after 10 minutes, still not ready. So it's been more like 15 minutes for the green beans. So just ignore what I said before. I think the cooking times are, what did I say now, 20 minutes for the carrots, 20 minutes for the carrots, then put the green beans in for another 15 minutes, and then it should be done. So the last thing to do now is, I'll just show you what it looks like now. So the veg is not overcooked. I think because there's not enough liquid in there to boil the veg. It's kind of steaming really, so that's why it's taken so long, I think. And so they're just cooked nicely now. They're not overdone. So the last thing to do is to put the stir the fromage frais in. Now what you could do at this point is you could freeze it if you wanted. Don't put that in yet. But you could freeze this, and then when you're ready to eat it, you can just defrost it, warm it through, and then put the fromage frais in at the end, because this literally just needs stirring through at the end. If I was making a full fat version, obviously I'd use cream instead of fromage frais, but this is going to be lovely anyway. So I'm going to put this in now. I always take so long scraping stuff out of bowls because I just don't like to leave anything behind in the bowl. Right, so that's that in there, you can see. I'll just stir it through. As I said, this will thicken it up a little bit, but it won't be as thick as a normal fricassee would be. But it's still going to be really nice. Right, what I'll do is I'll just turn the camera around so you can see what it looks like now. One sec. Okay, so as you can see, it looks really nice and creamy now. The veg is still really brightly coloured. It looks lovely. It's not really thick, but it's thick enough for a stew. Okay, so now that's done. It's ready to just dish up now. So yeah, what you could serve this with rice. It's really nice with like white rice. As I said before, serve it with new potatoes. That's lovely as well, or mash. Just depends what you like, and it depends, you know, what sort of diet you're on. I mean, crusty bread would be lovely with this. Obviously, that's not going to work for you if you are doing Slimming World. But what I'll do is I'll dish it up and then post a photo of it on the video. So that's it for this week. So please like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll see you next week.